Welcome into Cleveland Browns Daily on a beautiful Thursday. The sun is out, not for long, but it's out right now, so we'll enjoy that. A lovely Cinco de Mayo to all of you. Hope you're having a great day out there. Nathan Zegura, Jason Gibbe with you here for the next 2 hours on our show. We've got some things to go through here, Gibbe. We're going to get Chad Reuter at NFL.com, had his 3 favorite picks from every round, and the Browns were well represented. We'll take a look at that. We've got some outrageous post-draft power rankings from Pete Prisco, which we will dissect, and coming up at the bottom of the hour. And then in hour number 2, our good friend Matt Waldman from the Rookie Scouting Portfolio stops by to talk about some of the Browns' skill position talent that they acquired on offense in this draft. We've got the mailbag as well, so you can get your questions in using the hashtag AskCBD. Hit me up, hit Gibby up, and we'll go ahead and we will talk about that. But first, Gibbe, you got to get on the golf course yesterday, throw the small ball around, a little bit wet, but you got through it. How was it?
Dude, not bad. Look, you knew my mindset coming in yesterday. Like, I was going to golf. I did not care what it looked like. I did not care what I was going to shoot.
Yeah.
But this weather, I've just got to power through it now. We're into May. You just got to power through it. Put on the rain gear. Put on the warm clothes, whatever the case might be, and just get out there and bear down. And we did, and we played. It was not bad. Not even a cart path only, and the course was in good shape. They were just like, hey, you guys have been coming here a long time. Just be smart. Like, if you see standing water, there's probably a lot of standing water in that area. Just avoid it. And we did.
And you did. You played well.
Yeah. I mean, that's, I played. Let's put it that way. I had some good shots. I had some shots that looked like I'd never swung a golf club before yesterday.
Yeah.
I still played better than Danny Cunningham probably would have played. That's right. Shots fired.
Dang. Across the bow. Let's go. Let's go.
Yeah, it was fine. And then we had some libations. I know you were out gallivanting around last night.
Oh,
as well.
yeah. Had a good time
it
at
was a first
Spodo's.
Friday. Lived to its fullest.
It was great to be at Spodo's there, which was always a ton of fun. And we had a blast there with the boys. And I got to drop a word in the normal course of conversation, a word that I've been enjoying quite a bit recently in my life. And I think, we were talking about, sounding gentrified or having, putting like a fancy pronunciation on a word, something like that. We talked about that on the show a little bit yesterday. I like using, instead of between, I like using the word betwixt.
I don't, what?
Yeah, so like Cade York has been brought to the Browns to kick the football betwixt the uprights.
Why? What is that?
It means between. It's a great word.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it does. Look it up.
What, in what language?
English, brother.
No.
Between.
Wrong.
Yes, it's an ancient British word.
I believe you, like.
And it was big. It was
big behind the curtain tomorrow. We've got some stuff that it's pre-taped, so we can have a little getaway day after our long week.
Yeah,
I believe. Didn't you spout out a couple English terms yesterday too?
I did, but I feel like you're killing betwixt right now. It was big in the 18th century. It's probably because I'm watching. I watch Outlander.
I'm gonna
I watch Black Sails.
Yeah, get rid of this right now.
No way. It's a great word.
Nope. Out.
He really Deshaun Watson really squeezed that pass in betwixt multiple defenders.
If you do that on a broadcast this fall, I will turn your mic off.
I can't believe you don't like betwixt.
No.
I'm stunned.
No.
Betwixt was a hit last night. It was a hit.
Some of the words that we have
Burns and Russ
come up
and
with.
Hirsch loved it.
Well, great.
It's a real word.
Okay.
This isn't Scaramouche. This isn't made up. This is real.
Scaramouche isn't it in the lyrics of one of the Queen songs?
That's more like Scaramouche. Scaramouche, Scaramouche, which sounds very similar to my Scaramouche, it turns out.
I'm not signing off on this. What I am signing off on is you almost biting it in the cafeteria today.
Yeah, so I'm walking into the cafe, and as you guys who are on the YouTube stream see, I'm wearing
the sweater is
It's always a head turner. It's always a head turner, this sweater. And so I'm walking, and Mike Nicholas says, look at that. And he's sitting at a table of 4 people, and I turn and look and said, yeah, this one's always a good one. Now, there must have been a chair that was further out than it should have been.
I don't think so.
It had to be.
I was in front of you and didn't have any problem navigating.
I know, and I was like drafting you. which made it so I was exerting less energy walking, next level thinking. So I was keeping myself betwixt you and the person behind me. And it was really, it was wonderful.
To annoy me already.
I loved it. You liking it would have meant that it would have been mentioned in the opening segment and then probably not again. You hating it means that.
Yeah, I don't like it. I can't coach.
Somebody should set the over-unders on the number of times I say betwixt.
Gonna beat the dead horse today?
Betwixt the hours of 1 and 3 today.
Yeah, there you go. Mr. Ed's been dead for like 20 years.
Let's go.
We're going to keep on whooping him.
Yeah, let's go. So anyway, I turn and I look and say, yeah, something about sweater. And I walk, and I mean, I crush. Look there's even a dent in my shoe. It's actually this foot. The front of my foot right into the pole or the leg of a chair to thunderous laughter. Monica, who is one of the nicer people around, was doubled over laughing. She even apologized for laughing so loudly at my misfortune.
I told her that she was in her right to do it. It's funny as long as it doesn't happen to you. It's like when someone falls on the ice. Like hope, are you okay? Good. Now I'm gonna laugh.
Well, there was no real concern about whether I was okay or not.
No, there was none.
Now, to be fair, I was on the phone, so I no-sold it and just kept going. But it hurt quite a bit.
The look on your face going through the line, the cafeteria line, you're just like, oh my God. Oh my God.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that was great.
And then we had to get out. We had to be out by 12:15, and I was on the far side at around 12:14 and 38 seconds. You were in there past 12:15, by the way, looking for the new. To be fair, though, they changed the way that spoons and forks were delivered.
Yeah,
so
I couldn't find the silverware. I had my food.
It caused a reasonable delay.
There was no fine levied.
No fine.
As far as I know.
Well,
who knows?
We'll find out. Yeah, we'll find out soon.
If you're
reported, yeah, we'll find out soon enough. But I was nervous that I was basically operating on one foot at this point. Like, would I be able to traverse the 20 yards of the cafe on one leg in 20 seconds? I gave it everything I had, and I did.
You did.
I did. I made it.
Yeah, new rules.
But now, it felt like I was betwixt a rock and a hard place.
That is dumb. Please
stop. It's a great word.
Stop
you
it.
are nuts.
You're dumb. Stop it. Yeah, you're not dumb. You're very smart.
Yeah, that's hurtful. That's hurtful.
Sorry, I pulled it back. Don't use that word.
When you golf ever, do you ever just try to give the grass a feel? Not on the greens, obviously that's illegal. But if you're in the rough, do you ever try to give to feel out what's going on in the rough area? Not where your ball is, obviously, but just in a similar portion of grass to feel that out. Do you ever do that?
No.
So you never have grass betwixt your fingers?
I'm gonna turn your mic off. We're gonna be done. The next
level is next. The next level is next. We'll be back, which is hilarious. Yeah.
Forcible.
Yeah.
Cunningham, you're gonna have to hold it down. You're just gonna have to host till 3:00.
He could do it.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see.
I'm busy. I'm teaching people over here, guys.
I think Gibbe's mad at me right now.
I'm not mad at you.
I'm already catching stray shots about my golf game.
I know.
Well,
he's just lashing out at a lot of people. Which
2 minutes into the show, he couldn't wait. He's having a bad day today, Nathan.
I know. It's that you hate to see it. The guy got to get on the golf course yesterday too, and he's having a bad day, which makes it.
Oh, I'm fine.
He must have just woke up on the wrong side of the bed.
He probably picked the wrong pair of underwear.
Must have.
Yeah, I'm quite comfortable. The underwear choice was quite cozy today.
By the way,
I'm not in a bad mood. It's Cinco de Mayo.
Yeah. Kyle Benner. I've been using betwixt in my daily verbiage for a while now. Top tier word choice. Yet another demerit earned by Gibbe. That's right. Kyle, I don't know what you're doing right now, but if you'd like to throw your hat in here to be the next Stevie, you've got my vote early on. You and Meckling and Ned. Maybe we'll have 3 of them. I don't know. Did you see from the Hoff, speaking of the Hoff, did you see what this Hoff had to say today?
No.
Had a little giggle this morning in yoga class. My teacher, who certainly is not a wrestling fan, referred to the sternum as the solar plexus. It's just the little things in life, Nathan Zegura. That's right. I said she must have been hearing about Gorilla Monsoon. She must have been listening to Gorilla Monsoon, or he must have been listening to Gorilla Monsoon and just not knowing the genius of that. I can hear him and Jesse the Body Ventura talking about someone taking a shot right in the solar plexus. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, got to be careful.
Yes,
got to be careful on that.
You gotta love it. You gotta.
What was the drink of choice last night? Because knowing full well tonight's a bigger night.
Tonight's a big night, so I
Tonight's a
took
real big
it
night.
easy. I took it easy. First of all, Spoto's incredible wings, incredible atmosphere. Everything about it's great. Ran into,
Oh, no.
believe it or not, the mother-in-law of Devaroe Lawrence.
What?
Yeah. So we're sitting there, and this lovely woman, Holly, is across the bar, and we were talking. Somebody was talking to me about the Browns, and she's like, "Oh, my son-in-law used to play for the Browns," and I'm like, "Who?" She goes, "Devaroe Lawrence." I said,
How
"Oh
giddy
my
did
God."
you get?
Okay, so what story would I tell her? You know me, you know Devaroe. What? And there's an exact phrase that I would use.
I don't remember off the top of my
So he
head.
would see me. Devaroe and I got along famously.
Yes.
I loved him. And when he would see me, he would give me a hug. Devaroe Lawrence is defensive tackle in the NFL, 300 pounds,
large
big,
man.
strong dude, like big and very strong. There goes Jenner, smiling, still got her soup. She's maintaining that. She was nervous coming up the stairs if she was going to be able to make it with all the food she had. She made it. So he would see me and he would hug me, give me these huge hugs. And I'd love it. But I also felt like I might be dying.
Yes.
He could squeeze the life out of me.
He had a grip.
If he was a wrestler, he could, like Andre the Giant, he could have done a bear hug on people, and it would have been devastating. So what he would say after that, he'd be like, "When I see you, I got to embrace you." And so I told her this story. I ended up sending him a text, and I got to reconnect with Devaroe Lawrence last night.
Where
so
is he? What's he doing?
I think he's in the area, raising a child, having the time of his life. Happy as can be.
Interesting.
Yeah. What a fine man Devaroe is. Just a fine man.
We got to find out where he's at.
Yeah.
Like, he was a good friend. He was a strong friend of the
Great
program.
friend of the program. Great friend of the program. And remained a friend even when he was betwixt the Browns and the Chiefs.
That doesn't even make any sense.
Yes, because there was a time when he was with us, and then he was then going to be with the Chiefs. And even in the moments between those two, betwixt them, he still was a great friend.
Wrong. Stop using that word.
People are loving it.
I'm going to fine you.
People are loving it. Matt Hooper, loving it. Per usual, told no lies. Exactly right. Tim Rice, listening, loving it. Adam Schwartz, just please go heavy on betwixt
Mark
today.
Bishop, betwixt, thumbs down. Does Nathan also extend his pinky while sipping his tea? That's right. Good job.
No,
Mark.
but I will if I'm sipping a fine añejo like I will be doing today. Betwixt bites of tacos on Cinco de Mayo.
Cameron Savage, I don't know what language he is speaking. Had to close the app and restart, and he's still saying words I don't know. Is it just my stream?
You're welcome. Let me listen.
Cameron,
let's
I'm sorry in
educate the
advance.
masses.
I don't know what he's
Let's
doing.
expand the vocabulary of our listeners. We have, I think, one of the things that I love about Cleveland Browns Daily's
Word
fan
does
base
suck.
is, number one, passionate. The passion, the loyalty. Number two, just the intelligence and the desire.
That's fine.
The
You
thirst,
guys use some quality big words. This is not a quality big word.
the thirst
I
for
think
knowledge.
Beau would agree with
the
me.
thirst to expand their horizons, to broaden their horizons, as they see that currently they are at point A, they want to get to point B, and they will do whatever they can to accelerate the time spent betwixt point A and point B, Gibbe. And that's what I love about our
Cameron,
fan base.
it's not the app. It's just Zegura not being great today.
I think we're having.
He's
a,
good.
I'm
He's
having.
not great.
I think
today.
we're having a great time. Yeah. Adam Schwartz with a stand-up comedian joke here. Hey, Adam, what's your fifth favorite candy bar? Me? Well, that's an easy one. It would be Twix.
I don't like that either.
I think this is great. I'm really having a great time. We've got a lot of fun and frivolity on the show today, as we mentioned. Yes.
Real quick.
Yes.
I'm going to throw it out there.
Yes.
Just to make Danny's life more difficult today. I'm really not trying to make his life more difficult. But
Likely story.
In the mailbag, do we take calls?
No.
I'm fine with it. You know, I'm a man of the people. I love talking to the people. I'm fine doing a call
Gibbs,
segment.
I was going to be on your side with this whole betwixt thing.
Not anymore.
Now, I mean, I was going to ask Nathan what he thought, what it was like being at Jay Gatsby's party in the 20s during the break. But
you know what? It was
now
great.
I might be on his side.
It was great,
I think
Gatsby.
the sweater is from that time period.
Yeah, it's a beautiful sweater. So I'm feeling pretty good here. Cinco de Mayo, one of my favorite days of the year. Great.
Are you going somewhere, or are you just home tonight?
No, I believe we're meeting the great Steve and Molly tonight. I think at Tres Portillo's. The Three
Like,
Horses.
is that a party place or is that a fancy joint?
Are there fancy, like,
That sounds
named
like
Tres
something.
Portillo's?
That sounds like something that it maybe is a little fancier.
It's just
than-
Spanish, and I believe it means the Three Horses. I could be wrong about that. My daughter's going into
After-
honors Spanish. Shout out, Artie. Way to go.
Nice, good
Yeah.
job. My kid got accepted to honors college at
Or it's
Akron.
Tres Portillo's. Congratulations, Gibbe.
Yeah,
Let's go.
80, strong.
I mean, it's a chain, authentic Mexican. Yeah, and it means the Three Horses.
Where's this at?
It's all over town. There's one in Medina, there's one in Copley, and there's one in Beechwood, which is the one I believe
It's
I
too
will
far. See, so I got an issue tonight because the youngest has
be. One in Akron.
she has a scholarship event tonight that we have to attend as a family. It starts
Okay.
at 7:00. I was like, honey, not ideal. How long is this?
Yeah,
thing?
what's the deal?
Like, it's Cinco de Mayo. And she's
Three
like,
little
that's
horses.
a great question. I said,
Yeah.
like, if they're handing out a lot of scholarships tonight, this could be like a 2-hour event. And in which case, we're going to get closed out here on Cinco de Mayo. And she's like, I'm like,
No,
that,
not allowed.
That will not happen.
Not allowed.
So I'm up in the air right now as to how this evening is looking.
Gabriel Greenlee is onto something, by the way. He's
Yeah.
onto something,
Okay.
and I don't like it. Says, see yet again, Beau Bishop is gone, and BGSU Gibbs, that's you, Gibbe. Why can't you just change your handle to @Gibbe? Come on.
Because my name is Gibbs.
Your name is Gibbe. Bullies and verbally assaults Nathan Zegura. That's right.
I do that when Beau's here.
Joe C. Betwixt. It is rare in the U.S., but still used fairly often in British English. It is sometimes appears in the redundant cliche betwixt and between, meaning neither one thing nor another. No shame in being cultured. Gibbs is a real bummer today. Yeah.
I'm not a bummer.
Tim Rice, I like Betwixt. Me too, brother. The Stick. Love Betwixt. Keep it up. You're outnumbered here. You are literally betwixt a rock and a hard place. The people are against you. The people are for me. They're for Betwixt.
I'm not conforming. That's just
That's
not,
nothing. Nobody's ever
Yeah.
accused you of being a conformist.
Yeah.
Today.
No. Congratulations. You got some people on your side. I believe I've got a few on mine. I believe the army is small, but we can overcome a lot.
Brent Watson,
I'm
he
the
loves it.
Braveheart of
Sorry,
fighting
Gibbe.
betwixt.
Yeah, Bo would be all about this.
I don't think so.
Bo would be sipping on
I
Pappy
don't
Van
think
Winkle in his sipping chair, discussing.
By the way,
Yeah,
last night,
yeah.
a buddy of mine was in Scottsdale 2 weeks ago for spring break.
Okay.
Family spring break. Found a bar that offers every kind of Pappy Van Winkle ever made. It's a hole-in-the-wall pub.
Is that possible? What you said, like anybody could even know that. Every bottle that they've ever made?
Every type.
Oh, okay. Uh-huh.
Because there's numerous.
Yeah, there's different ages and all of
Yes.
this. Yeah, sure.
They have them all
Sure.
at this little hole-in-the-wall dive.
Yeah.
I will get you a name, but it's pretty spectacular from what I was told.
Well, I'm wearing a shirt from Scottsdale as well. This is from
Oh.
Barrio Queen, appropriate for Cinco de Mayo.
By the way, I did get
Toto
I
Madre.
got a hug from that same buddy for the Barrio Queen recommendation. I said, I can't take credit for that. That would be one Nathan Zegura.
I'm happy to share credit betwixt us.
Yeah, now I'm going to take full credit, and you will take none.
Ah, yes. Gibbe, the official Nana of the show, would like to know, want you to shout out your daughter again. She did not catch which college that she got scholarship
Adriana's
from.
she's going to start off at Akron, and then I think she was going to transfer because she doesn't want to go to college very long in the state of Ohio. She'd like to go somewhere warmer.
Begin as a zip.
Yes.
End as
because,
something else.
Yes, especially because it involves medical school later on.
Oh,
so I think
very
she's
nice.
getting the you know what I mean, the classes, the basic stuff out of the way, and then moving on up.
I like it. Well, we certainly wish her well.
Thanks.
Absolutely.
It's the month of 80, man.
Let's go.
I got a birthday, but it doesn't matter.
Your birthday always matters.
No, not this month. Not this year.
Why not?
There's a lot going on, man.
Well, we will celebrate you.
Maybe.
You won't be left out of the
I
celebration.
usually try to not be around on that day.
Are you gone? Have you already taken the day off?
I don't know if I have yet.
Hold on. Allow me to look into my calendar. Nana says congrats. The problem with my calendar now is it used to be really easy to find birthdays, and now it's not as easy because there's something on the calendar literally I have dots every single day.
Meetings.
Yeah, meetings.
Lots and lots of meetings.
All right, I'm going to find this. I'll go from there.
Matt Waldman's going to join us today at 2:15.
Oh,
kind of
baby.
excited about that to break down our draft class.
Oh, boy.
Matt Miller was going to join, but he is under the weather today.
Do I have this right, Gibbe? Tuesday the 17th?
Maybe.
I believe I do.
Maybe.
I believe I do have that.
There you go.
It is betwixt Monday the 16th and Wednesday
I hate you
the
now.
18th. All right. We're going to have some commercials that will be played betwixt our glorious show here on Cleveland Browns Daily. You're listening to CBD on ESPN Cleveland. There's a lot of bad advice out there about gambling, from secret methods to picking lottery numbers to betting big when you're on a roll. These myths can lose you money and get you in a lot of trouble. So before you wager, find out what's real and what isn't at keepitfunohio.com. Nathan Zegura, Gibbe, back with you here at Cleveland Browns Daily. Gibbe, the people are making their voices heard in the great betwixt controversy.
Well, there's some I can read. There's some I cannot.
Some you
the
can't.
ones that I cannot are actually siding with me.
Well, yeah, that's why you should have. Yeah. There's a lot of people, yeah.
Browns
People putting you in
well done.
timeout. Josh Van Bibber, what a selection of tequilas that he's got there. I say let's go with the Clase Azul, brother. That is a beautiful bottle. That's the Reposado
What
in
is
the white.
What is? Are you going carne asada tonight? Like, what is?
I'm hoping to get an Al Pastor somewhere.
Right.
That's what I'm hoping for. I always love that. Any kind of a street taco, though, that's really what I'm after. Give me the small corn tortilla. Give me the meat seasoned beautifully. And then give me just a little bit of chopped onion, chopped cilantro. I'd love a little, if we can, get a little habanero and pineapple salsa on there. And then let's go.
I like that kind of salsa on a fish.
Oh, do you? I'm not a big fish taco guy.
No, not a fish taco. Like
just on fish.
A nice red snapper.
Oh, boy.
On a little bed of rice.
With a little habanero pineapple
Yeah.
salsa or a mango type something.
Yes.
Like
absolutely.
a Caribbean,
yes.
a Caribbean presentation.
Yes.
I like that.
Gibbs needs to go sit in the corner. Isn't it 1 minute of timeout per year of age? See after 2, buddy. Betwixt is a winner, Gibbs being a sore loser.
I like that.
That'll get you banned on the
Mud
show.
Music says you are currently betwixt exciting NFL news times, but still bringing the A game. Happy Cinco de Mayo.
So
Happy Cinco de Mayo to you, too.
So Gibby saying your daughter will be splitting college betwixt Akron and another school.
It's catching on. I feel like
Ethan, poor choice of words.
Yes.
Uh,
T-Mag, live look of what's happening betwixt segments in the only studio christened by the U.S. Navy, and you're strangling me. I think that's right.
Oh.
Your birthday's betwixt Monday the 16th and Wednesday the 18th. Give me, that was a good one. You even laughed at that, which made me very happy. Made me very happy indeed.
Tweet your questions to us. Twitter mailbag's open today. I would say we're going to do it at 2:30, but it sounds like we may be doing it throughout this entire show. At Browns_Daily, using the hashtag AskCBD, and we will answer as many questions as we can get to. Heck, maybe we'll take a phone call or two.
I think it'd be fun. I love talking to the people. I think it'd be a lot of fun. I think we'd have a great time with it. So I'm for it. I'm okay with it. Because that way you can let people go. It's like a live mailbag. We can just go right there. Just have it.
We're doing it live.
Bring it to the people there. All right. We do have some NFL stuff to get to. And right now it is, I'll be honest with you. I was really expecting, like, this week to be full of signings.
Nothing. Nothing.
Like, I really did. And maybe it's going to end up being the weeks before, like, a lot of these mandatory mini camps. But, when we were talking with Paul DePodesta yesterday, and if you didn't hear that, talking football here, of course. If you didn't hear that, be sure to check that out because it's a very good interview. He talks about the process, how some of these trades went down, a lot of what I would call interesting little nuggets if you were paying attention to the Depot scores there. He gave you a lot to talk about and to think about in terms of the process by which the Browns do these things. Wow, Gabriel Greenlee, #cancel Gibbe. All right, let's not go that far. I love Gibbe. He's a great foil. You need to have a foil, and he couldn't be a better foil for me. I love Gibbe. Uncancel him. I'm sad I even read that. Gibbe, never.
Nah, you're fine. It's
Never.
like the guy that commented on our podcast last week that says, I'm just angry all the time, and I look like I don't want to be here. And I'm like, I'm funny, but I'm smiling. I'm
And
laughing
you're rather
at every
pleasant.
picture.
So's Judge. Look at Judge over there.
Judge was just in Marco Island.
Look at him. What a stride.
Rough.
He looks great. Beautiful blazer he's got on, too. Nice sport coat, as it were.
What is that?
But anyway, one of the things Depot was saying, as I got sidetracked there, one of the things Depot was saying was that you would think that a lot of people want to have, if a player's going to a new team, that you want to get in there and you want to be a part of the OTAs and you want to be part of these installs so that you can ramp up so that you can hit the ground running at the mandatory minicamp or at training camp. And I agree with that. And so it is interesting to me how little movement we have seen. And, in fact, I thought we'd see more releases than we have. We haven't seen a ton of releases. and we haven't seen a ton of signings. And I think that is very surprising because there's still a lot of very, very good players who are currently unsigned in the NFL.
Yeah, but even AB said it on Saturday night after the draft ended. We're going to take a week here, reconvene, and figure out next steps to finish up this roster. So,
yeah.
But if there's someone out there that you want,
and let's do it. I
think you want to do that sooner rather than later.
Yeah. I would also say, the other thing that Depot said that I found interesting is that most people in the front office, their contracts are up now. And so the renewals and people changing, which is why we've heard rumors of Catherine Raish perhaps leaving the Eagles and coming to the Browns. We don't know, it is not official. There have just been reports about it, and I haven't heard anything really since a couple of days ago when that first came out. But you are going to have some movement there, so perhaps that's a part of it, that you need to have some of that movement before you're able to figure out exactly what direction you're going. And so maybe that's why there's this delay that I wasn't expecting. I don't know. I was just, in my mind, it was going to be like, all right, these teams know
and not just with the Browns, but around the league.
Around the league, yeah.
The league is like taking the week off, I feel like.
Yeah, the league has, which has been a big surprise to me. So I don't know. Maybe we'll be able to wrap this week up, a little bit of draft analysis, and then we'll be able to get into, what the league looks like, where's everybody at. We got that with Prisco and his power rankings. And then I still think you want to see some of these things play themselves out, and you want to flesh out this roster. Like, I don't think it's any secret that the Browns need a little bit more speed in their wide receiver room. I don't think it's a secret that you want to get Jadeveon Clowney back here, and I don't think it's a secret that the Browns want to find a veteran nickel corner that they can bring in. And now one of the names that had been bandied about immediately following the trade of Troy Hill was Bryce Callahan, and he did sign this week. He did sign a one-year deal. I don't remember where, but he did sign a one-year deal this week. So he is not a guy that it would be eligible for the Browns anymore. But as we mentioned, we're getting in Gibby. I see him efforting.
Signed with the Chargers.
Chargers. I knew it was in the AFC. Chargers, too. So they've added J.C. Jackson, Bryce Callahan, a solid veteran slot.
Right.
There are still some very good players out there, but we'll see ultimately how that plays out for us and really around the league, though. I really thought we would see a lot more action
There'd
than
be a
we have
second
seen.
wave of free agency.
Yeah.
I mean, I think all eyes right now are on Jadeveon Clowney. I mean, it starts there.
Yes, that's as it sits. That is the number one priority remaining for this football team. Because the receiver, yes, you would like to get him, but I mean, if you were saying we're going out there and our starting receivers or pass catchers for the very talented Deshaun Watson would be Amari Cooper, Donovan Peoples-Jones, and David Bell, and with the Chief, I feel good about that. Would I like to see a vertical guy? Maybe Anthony Schwartz takes that leap this year, but if you were to throw a Will Fuller in there, or if you were to throw a T.Y. Hilton in there, or a Deshaun Jackson in there, does that give you a little more juice in some situations? Perhaps. But the one that you're really looking at is the defensive end position. And we put a lot of resources at it recently. You've got in that room now Miles Winovich. You signed Weatherly and Isaac Rochelle right before the draft. You had Curtis Weaver from last year, so that was 5. And then you just drafted 2, Alex Wright and Isaiah Thomas later in the draft.
Yeah.
So you've got 7 now. So could you roll with that? Yeah, you could roll with that. Ultimately, where will that be? You want Clowney, though. I mean, let's be frank about it. It's no secret the Browns want Clowney. It's no secret that Clowney is interested in coming back in the Browns. I think it's part of it's a matter of timing, and hopefully that timing will come soon, and they're able to resolve that and move forward. But as we told you, we were going to talk a little bit about the draft, and Chad Reuter, who's a guy who does 7-round mocks, which is an unbelievable undertaking. I know I find it to be a fascinating undertaking, and he'll do that for NFL.com. And so he came back with an article that is ranking his favorite picks in every round. And we'll go through them all. Even though the Browns didn't participate in either of the first 2 rounds, there are some names on here that I think are interesting. So in round 1, Jordan Davis, who was New Rob's favorite out of Georgia, the big defensive tackle. Go ahead, Gibby.
No, it was great. I know that was a guy that the Ravens were interested in at 14.
It is. They also ended up with Kyle Hamilton, which I thought was pretty good. Yeah, not great. Now, speaking of the Ravens get here on the first-round picks that he liked as well. Tyler Linderbaum, the center out of Iowa, is his second favorite pick of the first round. And then George Karlaftis, the edge rusher out of Purdue, goes to Kansas City, 30th overall. He was his third favorite. So he has 3 favorites in each round. Round 2, again, Brown's not involved. Pick 1 at number 46 overall, Josh Paschal, which is a name that we started to talk about as a riser in this draft, and he did rise right into the middle of the second round. Sky Moore, the wide receiver out of Western Michigan, who went with pick number 54 to the Kansas City Chiefs. I think he's going to be very good with Patrick Mahomes there. And while he isn't Tyreek Hill in skill set, he's the guy that they added into their receiving core, along with Marquez Valdes-Scantling, who was signed this offseason, who does have vertical capabilities. And then number 3, James Cook, drafted number 63 overall in the second round. The brother of Dalvin is darn good.
Buffalo
Big play
needed
threat.
a running game.
I know, but Singletary actually ran well for them down the stretch last year.
I had that wrong last year.
Yeah, and he was a second-round pick as well. And so I think but it was a while ago that he was a second-round pick, so I'm guessing the thinking is, his time is probably coming to an end, and so we've got to go ahead and move forward here, and we're going to get James Cook. But adding that home run element to their backfield, I think, is a very, very good one. We go on to round 3. Nakobe Dean, who went 83rd overall, was his favorite pick there. The guy was the leader on the national title-winning defense. He is, got some medical concerns, but this guy is an unbelievable playmaker. And they got him in the third round. That was a good pick. Then there's our guy, David Bell, the receiver out of Purdue. Said we knew he wasn't going to show great speed at the combine, but his route running, reliable playmaking at Purdue made him a solid top 100 pick for the Browns. He should have a strong career as other quote-unquote slow veterans, Jarvis Landry, James Jones, and Allen Robinson.
Well, if you're one of those 3.
Oh, boy.
Fine.
Great. We'll take it.
We'll be just
James
fine.
Jones caught a lot of touchdown passes from Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
A lot. And then he liked Joshua Ezeudu. The Giants selected him as a guard out of North Carolina, 67 overall. So now we go to the 4th round. And here we go. More Browns again. Starts with Cade Otton, the tight end, who was the first pick of the 4th round to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And then Perion Winfrey, our guy out of Oklahoma, pick 108. He said teams are understandably concerned about Winfrey's inconsistent film, but he should have been off the board on day 2 because of his quickness off the snap and his aggressiveness. Cleveland desperately needed a 3 technique that gets up the field in a hurry, so they had to be thrilled to find Winfrey still available in round 4. Rounding it out, Percy Butler, the safety out of Louisiana, goes to Washington. I know he was a guy that the Browns liked very much. And then Dane Belton, safety out of Iowa, went to the Giants. And Belton went 114th. Butler went 113th. And, in fact, another safety, if I'm not misremembering, either went 112th or 115th. There were 3 safeties in a row, and then the Browns traded out of 118. And I wonder if they had their eyes on one of those safeties there in the 4th round before they were able to get him. 5th round, he liked Sam Howell, the quarterback to the Commanders from North Carolina, who a lot of people thought might be the first pick in the draft over a year ago.
There's a lot of people saying by the midpoint in the season he's going to be the starting quarterback in Washington.
Yeah.
I don't think that's going to be good for Washington if that's the case.
Well, maybe it is good for Washington. Maybe they got it right, just like they got it right when they selected Kirk Cousins in the 4th round.
Wentz, man, that price tag. I mean, the albatross.
It was an outrageous move by them, and yes, I'm guessing that they're going to have to go with it for a little while. But I think you'd like to see them be able to, develop Howell, and if he's the guy, great for them. If not, we'll see. All right, Tarek Woolen, Texas San Antonio, cornerback to Seattle, and Darian Kennard, a guard from Kentucky to the Chiefs in the 5th round. You get into the 6th round real quickly. He liked Keontae Ingram, the running back from USC, to the Arizona Cardinals. He liked Jasir Taylor, defensive back out of Wake Forest, to the Chargers, and Vidarian Lowe, tackle out of Illinois, to the Vikings. And then in round 7, here we go, Chris Paul, the guard from it's all basketball 7th round here. Chris Paul out of Tulsa, the guard, goes to the Washington Commanders, pick 230 overall. Number 2, his second favorite pick in the 7th round, Isaiah Thomas of the Browns, number 223 overall, though not as athletic as Oklahoma teammate Nick Bonito, who went in the 2nd round. Thomas was a constant pain in the neck for opposing offenses. He is sturdy in the run game, always seems to find his way to the quarterback despite not having elite speed, plus he uses his hands well and is effective shifting inside. He could beat out a couple veterans for a backup role in 2022 and become a starter in year 2 or
If you
year
get a seventh
3.
rounder
Who
that
can contribute.
and then becomes a starter,
Yeah, that is.
I thought that was a pretty bold statement from Chad.
Yeah, that is a big thing for
But
you.
that's the one guy that of the day 3 picks out after the 4th round that draft analysts keep coming back to for the Browns and saying, really good pick.
Yeah,
Really good pick. Like, he can help that football team.
yeah. People like him. So as I said, now you go. All of a sudden, you have 7 in there. You're likely going to keep 4. Now let's go and look at the situation in which you bring Clowney back. Miles Clowney, Winovich,
Okay.
Alex Wright. Now, do you find a way to keep 5 if you really like what Isaiah Thomas shows you, or if you Weatherly or Rochelle, and you go maybe a lighter at defensive tackle because the fact is the Browns are going to kick if you got guys who can move inside.
Which is what they did last year.
But you still need probably more than 3 of those guys. And let's go into that room. You've got Taven Bryan, who you just signed a free agency. You've got Perrion, who you drafted this year. Jordan Elliott, who you drafted 2 years ago. You've got Tommy Togiai, who you drafted last year. And then Sheldon Day, who's hard to keep off the field and hard to keep off the roster. So all of a sudden there's a lot of competition in both of those rooms for the Cleveland Browns. And I think that's going to be something that is going to be very interesting to watch.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think that, what's that, 9 guys? 10 guys?
You'll keep?
Well, no, right now.
So right now
10
you have
or 11.
7. You have 7 in the defensive end room, and you have 5 in the defensive tackle room. And you're going to add some undrafted free agents in there, I'm sure. And there could be a veteran added there, but I think you feel pretty good about that room now. Certainly much better than you did a little while ago. So a lot of action, a lot of activity there for the Browns in those rooms as it relates to kind of filling them out in recent days. And so that's what the Browns were able to do. All right, we'll be back with more. Oh, Browns fans. Sorry. Browns fans. Sugardale sponsoring grand opening events at 2 new Meijer stores. Visit the Canton store on Friday, May the 6th, and the Brunswick store on Friday, May 13th for samples and giveaways and special appearances by Browns alumni and Chomps. For store locations and more details, visit sugardale.com/events. And we'll be back with more Cleveland Browns Daily right after this.
Cleveland.
If a car, truck, or motorcycle accident has caused you injury, call the injury lawyers at 1-800-ELK, Ohio for a free case review. Elk and Elk, proud partner of the Cleveland Browns. It's time now to bring in Gibby for a little higher or lower, presented by the Ohio Lottery, or, as I like to call, better or worse, and a virtual cornucopia of opportunities to use the word betwixt when discussing the rankings. For example, I see here the Rams are number
that
1.
Term still sucks.
Kansas City Chiefs are number 3. My question to you, without looking, Gibby, what team is betwixt the Rams and the Chiefs?
Well, the good news is I wrote this, so I already know it's the Bills.
Ah, yes.
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 Great. Just wonderful.
Yes.
All right. Higher or lower, presented by our great friends at the Ohio Lottery. Pete Prisco, America's favorite villain, CBSSports.com. Post-draft power rankings. Good news. We've got about 3 or 4 different ones. But we'll start this week with Mr. Prisco's. Should the following teams be higher, closer to number 1, or lower, closer to 32? Danny Cunningham will join us for this segment as well. The Browns, post-draft, come in at number 15. Higher, lower, or just right, Zegura?
I believe that we are better than this.
I believe it's higher, not better.
I believe that we should have a lower number, which somehow means that we are higher in the rankings. So I find it easier to simply say better so that there is no confusion betwixt our listenership.
Yeah, then you pull out stupid words like that.
Thank you.
That's what
I think that we're better than that. I find it – I don't understand how to
He's
get –
got us up 5 spots from pre-draft. He had us at 20. I would think that was also like before free agency and before everything else went down.
What in the world? So he hasn't done one of these before anything, clearly. But here's what I have a hard time understanding. Adding Deshaun Watson to our team bumps us up 5 spots. Adding Russell Wilson to the Denver Broncos bumps them up 11 spots. Okay?
Yeah.
But the single biggest move.
Yeah, you're looking at the same thing I am.
Up his power rankings, folks. The Washington Commanders are 12 spots better following the acquisition of Carson Wentz.
They're still
Is
hot
this
garbage.
real?
Yeah, I know.
And his words say the acquisition of Carson Wentz will improve the offense, but how much? So why do they go up 12 spots from 25 to 13 solely on the basis of his acquisition?
Are we sure that's going to improve their offense?
Great question and a fair question. The Colts get Matt Ryan. He then goes on to say Matt Ryan makes this a better team. They were the team that had Carson Wentz previously, and then they don't move in the rankings.
They don't move up or down.
This feels like a situation where we have to get Prisco on here where I just run circles around him and leave him betwixt a rock and a hard place as he tries to answer the charges.
You don't get to say that
it's the ultimate phrase. It's the ultimate betwixt.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is. It's the peanut butter and jelly of betwixt. It's the what follows yeoman's effort. A yeoman's effort. There's certain phrases that just go together.
Yeah, betwixt doesn't go with anything.
Apparently it goes with Cleveland Browns Daily today, and people are loving it, eating it up.
Next.
But these rankings to me are all incomprehensible.
Higher or lower?
By the way, Danny, higher, lower, or just right?
Better or
Browns
worse?
should be higher.
Thank you.
Browns, they've got one of the best rosters in the NFL and upgraded at quarterback. They are better than the 15th ranked team in the NFL.
Up next, we go around the AFC North and their rankings. The Bengals are 6th, down 4 spots post-draft. Again, that makes no sense.
So they
bolstered the offensive line.
Thank you.
They got better at all their positions of weakness, and they dropped 4 spots?
This offseason was about fixing the offensive line, and they did that. They also added a nice few pieces in the draft on defense. All of that will, again, make this team a contender, but they're down 4 spots.
So how do they drop 4 spots?
Because this doesn't make any sense. This is bad. This is bad, Prisco.
Higher, lower, or just right?
And I love Pete. He'll come fight me for it, but
I know he will.
it's not great. By the way, getting Tom Brady back immediately made them a contender again. They've done a nice job keeping things together other than Coach Bruce Arians stepping down and Todd Bowles taking over. And they only go up 4 spots for the return of Tom Brady from 9 to 5. But the Commanders go from 25th to 13 over I feel like we need Prisco here to answer for this. By the way, my mom says the video is gone. Is Nana right? Is she on top of her game?
Says it's live.
Says it's live, Nana. Could be
Live
on your
stream
end.
says it's up.
I don't see anybody else tweeting it, so I'm going to believe that it's okay.
So, Bengals, higher, lower, or just right, Zegura?
They beat the Chiefs twice in a row in games of consequence. So, to me, and they improved their team more than the Chiefs, who lost Tyreek Hill. I think that they are better than this. They should have a lower number, be higher on the list.
Danny Cunningham.
They're just about right. I think that it was a little bit of a fluky playoff run, but they're pretty damn good.
Next.
But they're better than they were a year ago. That is a
Higher
better
or lower?
Yeah. They should be better.
They are better than they were a year ago. Now, does that mean that they'll go farther? No, the AFC is absolutely loaded. It's absurd.
By the way, the stream working.
Okay.
Sorry, Nana.
The
The Ratbirds come in at number 10. They expect Lamar Jackson to revert back to his MVP form this season, which will make them a contender for the AFC North again. Do we know he's going to play? Do we know he's going to play for the Ravens? They had a great draft, which will only help those chances. Now this, I can understand. They did have a great draft. And they moved up 6 spots, and they are number 10 in the power rankings. Danny Cunningham, higher, lower, or just right for the Ratbirds?
Lower, because Lamar Jackson's a question mark. He seems to be pretty ticked off at that organization. Can we count on him to be on the field weeks 1 through 18? I don't know. Listen, he's good when he's playing. There's no doubt about that. But do we know that he's going to be playing there?
I think he still should have been playing at the end of last season. I think he should have gutted it out.
I would agree.
It's just me. Zegura, higher, lower, or just right?
Yeah, I think they're a little lower, but you never want to count the Ravens out. I think it's interesting that their draft netted them, it feels like the biggest gain of any team. That feels like a lot to ask out of a draft class. And don't forget, you did lose your leading receiver from a year ago, Hollywood Brown.
Yeah. It's a great point. They don't have that in here. Prisco,
yeah.
What are you doing?
I don't know. I think that we're better. I believe that we are better with the Ravens with Deshaun Watson at quarterback. We'll have to prove that out on the field, but I think that, and it's fine, by the way, us being low on these rankings, I'm fine with it. We don't need hype. We can just go out there, get to work, and then come out guns a-blazing. So far for us, hype has not gone well. I think we're in a much better position to handle hype now. I think that just from a culture standpoint and a leadership standpoint, we're in a better position to handle that kind of hype. But the Ravens are a question. Lamar Jackson's situation, until it's resolved, it makes it difficult for me to know what's going on with the Baltimore Ravens.
Next.
Higher or lower?
We're up against it, so I'm going to skip right down to number 9, the San Francisco 49ers. 10-7. Quarterback situation still unsettled, and if it's Trey Lance as the starter, they might have to be patient early on. There is still an abundance of talent on this roster to make it a lot easier for him. They're down 2 spots to number 9. Zegura, higher, lower, or just right?
There was another report that just came out. Hold on, let me find it real quickly. JPA Football says Matt Lombardo, NFL. He says the 49ers staff has been continually underwhelmed by second-year quarterback Trey Lance. If that's true, and you are not, and Jimmy Garoppolo goes somewhere else, where at this point, I don't know. I don't see where Jimmy Garoppolo goes. But if he does, and it is Trey Lance, I don't think you can put them there yet. I mean, let's just go through the quarterbacks that would be around them. Stafford, Allen, Mahomes, Rodgers, Brady, Burrow, Herbert, Russell Wilson, Trey Lance, Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts, Dak, Carson Wentz, Matt Ryan, and then you get down to Deshaun Watson again. Like, I think the Raiders are too low on this list. The Raiders go down even though they have Devontae Adams. Like, some of these things seem just nutty to me. Absolutely nutty. But if you look at the top 10 teams in this, you've got multiple MVPs, and then you have one outlier, which would be Trey Lance. Now, if it's Garoppolo, sure, I can make the case that Jimmy Garoppolo could be the guy for them to be a top 10 team. After all, in his last 2 full seasons, they've gone to the Super Bowl, and they've gone to the NFC Championship game. But right there, I don't know.
Danny, higher, lower, just right?
Lower. I can't believe in Trey Lance until I see what Trey Lance can do. I can't take them seriously as a contender until I know that they've got competence at quarterback, and right now it's a question mark.
With every day that goes by, Jimmy Garoppolo should just be their starting quarterback. I know what they've invested in this, but it doesn't make any sense to me at all.
Real quickly, it's just an aside. The NFL just tweeted out, "Sup, bro? The Steelers now have 4 sets of brothers on their roster. Cameron and Connor Hayward, Khalil and Carlos Davis, Terrell and Trey Edmonds, TJ and Derek Watt." That's got to be a record if those guys all make the 53 to have a team that have 4 sets of siblings on it.
Correct.
That's wild.
Is Derek Watt going to make that team? I don't know. Somehow he's managed to keep his head above water the last year and a half, 2 years. We'll see if that continues. All right, that's it for higher or lower. We got to go to break.
All right, we'll be back. Hour number 2 still to come here. We've got Matt Waldman from the Rookie Scouting Portfolio, Mailbag Thursday, and perhaps Gibbe's contemplating opening up the phone lines here on Cleveland Browns Daily. Listen to ESPN Cleveland. All right, hour number 2 of Cleveland Browns Daily kicking it off here right now. But first, I want to remind you about Rumpke Waste. Rumpke Waste and Recycling is a family-owned and operated company. Whether you join them as a customer or as an employee, you'll become a part of the family. Visit www.rumke.com to learn more. All right. It's Mailbag. It's a Mailbag day. By the way, Jay Stilson, the official Stilson, what a comment. These rankings have my mind betwixt feeling befuddled and incensed. Good job expanding the lexicon today, Dr. Z.
Normally, I'm totally down with your expansion of the vocabulary. This one, I just can't get behind. That's all.
Just promise me the next time that you are golfing and you do go down there and you're feeling the grass, you'll know exactly what I mean.
I'm not feeling the grass. I'm
Maybe you will.
Standing over the ball.
Sometimes you need to understand how firm the soil is beneath the grass so you know what angle of a descending blow you want to take on the ball. Are these not calculations you're making, Gibbe?
No.
Well, this could save you shots. There you go.
Yeah.
Golf lesson for the day.
Hitting the ball.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Yeah, I'm hitting the ball. Yeah. Unbelievable.
Hold on. Kyle Benner. First, I'd like to recommend another word to be in the same scholarly ranks as betwixt. Whilst.
Whilst is a great word, yes.
Sure. Whilst.
I love to use the word betwixt whilst golfing and assessing the depth of the rough.
Thanks, Kyle, for nothing. Second, what food did Z get after taking a tumble in the cafe, and did your injury influence this decision?
Well, it's Cinco de Mayo. There was a build-your-own taco bar, and so I went with chicken, a little shrimp, a little brown rice, some black beans, a little fajita veggies. Very light on the brown rice, though. You know, I'm trying to keep the carbs down, and then tons of chicken, tons of shrimp, and then some guacamole and a little pico de gallo.
But it's a nice little setup today.
It was very nice.
It's been nice.
It's been great.
Those ladies are.
It's the best restaurant in town. They're the best. Our cafe here is the best. The
it's
staff,
not their fault we have to be done at 12:15.
They couldn't be nicer. They couldn't be more jovial people. Like, I would describe it as being betwixt Nirvana and heaven.
So, a couple updates for you. Deebo Samuel hints on social media his situation with the 49ers might be improving. Well, there's a shocking development.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm assuming it has something to do with a monetary reason for that.
Yes, not a surprise.
Magic Johnson reportedly joins a group bidding for the Denver Broncos.
Oh.
How much money does that guy have?
A lot. He's done incredible business.
All right. You know, we were looking up net worth of people yesterday because he's part owner of the Dodgers, right?
He's
or a minority owner, or
yes, which would be the same as part. Yeah.
Sure.
I think
net
so.
worth $600 million.
That's not small, but
now see, hold on. Now
you're talking about Denver Broncos are going to have a valuation in the billions.
His earnings from basketball were only around $100 million. Now,
yeah,
see,
it
this
was a long
site
time ago.
says after retiring, he owned a company called Magic Johnson Enterprise. The valuation of this company is around $1.2 billion.
Okay, now we're cooking with gas.
I don't know about that. I think just focus on what you're doing. Stay.
What do you mean? Stop it.
I love Magic. I don't.
Typical Gibbe. Let him go. If he wants to be a part owner of the National Football League, which is probably going to be the highest potential return on investment of really anything that you could do, I say go for it. I mean, he's just going to be a part of the ownership group. There are many people that are, you know, for example, part owners of a lot of teams. There are some teams where it's just straight up like these are the owners, but there are other teams that have, you know, a lot of people involved. The Steelers were one of them. That's where the Haslams were part owners of the Steelers before they came and became the owners of the Cleveland Browns. So I say go for it, Magic. Let's go. He's got Russ there now. You know he likes that. Russell Wilson is there. It's a good time. It's a
great city.
Great city.
City.
Great town.
Jerry Jones transported to the hospital with minor injuries after a car wreck. He's going to be okay, which is good, and glad everybody's okay. But I'm telling you, if you were in your cruiser, if you were in the bus, you would have been fine. I'm telling you, it wouldn't have been a minor car wreck. Just saying. I've ridden in it. It's cozy. It's comfy.
Of course you
and
have.
I feel like you probably can hit a few things and not know that you've even hit them. Just my thought.
All right, I need you to weigh in here on a food situation.
Oh, God. Okay.
All right, so I'll present the question as it was asked to me.
Okay.
He said, trying to choose betwixt shrimp or beef tacos, any advice? How would you have responded?
I need to know the other ingredients for the tacos.
So
I know.
I wrote back shrimp. And the reason I wrote back shrimp is because I wasn't going to say we weren't going to have a long conversation about this. A shrimp taco, I have a pretty good idea. I'm going to get grilled shrimp. It's going to be seasoned in some type of maybe a
I like a little blackened.
blackened shrimp. Fine.
Perfect.
But I can picture it. A beef taco, just saying beef could be ground beef from Taco Bell. It could be shredded barbacoa, which would be great. If it said barbacoa, yeah, I'd probably choose that over shrimp. Could be a steak taco.
We had
Sure.
those downstairs today. They were
Love
wonderful.
It. Delightful. But just it saying beef, I felt I had to go with shrimp, and then I was attacked by Jeff. He said, "This is your all-time worst take, sir, LOL." And I just said there's very little context to the overall presentation. Steak, not beef would have swayed me. Barbecue, I just didn't know enough. And if you're asking me to choose between a ground beef taco and a shrimp taco, I'll take a shrimp taco every time. Now, if you're talking about where these are in my taco rankings, low. I'm living in the Al Pastor world, baby. I'm living in the Cochinita EP Beal.
Yeah.
Okay?
I need a little more detail. You can't just go like beef or shrimp.
Yeah, you can't just leave me betwixt beef and shrimp. Give me the full menu. I'll pick tacos. I'll build you a taco. I'll design the taco for you. How about this? Start with some Al Pastor. You slice it off. Slice a little bit of that pineapple as well. Finally chop some habanero. Boom, on there. Little white onion, minced. Boom, on there. Little fresh cilantro. Boom, and away you go. In the mouth, delightful. You're welcome.
Cleveland Browns Daily, 850 ESPN Cleveland.
Browns fans, Sugardale is sponsoring grand opening events at 2 new Myers stores. Visit the Canton store on Friday, May the 6th, and the Brunswick store on Friday, May the 13th for samples and giveaways and special appearances by Browns alumni and Chomps. For store locations and more details, visit sugardale.com/events. And we go back to the hotline to a guy that we talked to right before the draft, and we are thrilled to bring back the great Matt Waldman from the Rookie Scouting Portfolio joins us on the hotline. And Matt, first of all, how are you doing? Did you enjoy the draft and just kind of the wackiness and Wild West feel of that round one? Trades flying over, skill position players being traded, especially receivers, being drafted all over the place. Was this a fun draft for you?
Oh, absolutely. I think this was more of a scouts and a diehard football fans draft than any, despite all the, carnival stuff going on in Las Vegas. But just being able to see all the movement and then just seeing these quarterbacks fall. And to me, it actually fell perfectly for these quarterbacks, even though draft capital can be a big signifier of opportunity. These guys need an extended opportunity to develop. And then just with the receivers and the depth of the running back class, even a lot of the free agents that are available are interesting this year. This could be one of the more fascinating drafts in recent history, even though maybe on the surface to the casual fan it was kind of a dog.
A lot of people were saying that going in, and I won't lie to you. I did a ton of draft coverage this week. We do on Thursday night, we did an hour of TV, 4 hours of radio. Friday night, 5 hours of radio, and then Saturday, 3 more. And for the Browns, we didn't even pick in the first 6 hours that we were on the air for the radio covering the draft, which is unprecedented, obviously. But I had a heck of a time. I thought it was a fun, fascinating draft, and for one that people thought was going to be a snooze fest. I really agree with you. I think it was anything but, and just seeing the massive shift in the mindset of football teams about draft capital and about the value of proven commodities in the league, which I always thought they seemed to be undervalued relative to the unknowns of the draft. I thought it was a great time for all to enjoy.
Absolutely. It was, I think those are terrific points that you made. And to me, especially with quarterback, because when you think of the great quarterbacks that have come out of drafts, whether you want to go from a gunslinger like Brett Favre to a precision guy like Joe Montana to, Tom Brady, all those guys got to sit a little bit or had intermittent playing time. A guy like Steve McNair, who was an MVP, had intermittent playing time. Drew Brees had intermittent playing time. I mean, they got benched. Sometimes it was, the great Marty Schottenheimer talked about, or that Drew Brees talked about the great Marty Schottenheimer being the one who developed him and saying, listen, he would bench me when I wasn't seeing things well and say, you're my guy, I still have confidence in you. We're going to put the veteran in, let you watch this. And if we get close, I'm going to give you a chance to win it, which is just the great way of how you develop a guy, and that you're not seeing that in this league a lot. But these guys might get that chance. A guy like Malik Willis, who gets, third round, and while Ryan Tannehill's saying I'm not his mentor, that's okay. The fact that he can sit there for a couple of years through Tannehill's contract, watch, and do the work that he needs to do, he has a fighting chance now, whereas if you put him in right away, I think you would have seen a player flounder a great deal and might even get kind of burnt to a crisp in the frying pan. That is often the way owners want to insert rookies into the league.
Were you surprised the way that the quarterback draft in particular unfolded? Or was that what you expected, and in your evaluations you thought that this quarterback class merited?
Well, grade-wise, this is exactly how I hoped it would be, but I'm one of those people that every year thinks that there's maybe one guy at best who deserves a late first-round pick. So,
right, and that's the thing about the draft. Well, because it's the position, right? And if you have an opportunity, people like to take that swing. But I think you're right. He ends up Malik Willis in a great spot there. And Ryan Tannehill said, "Look, he's going to learn from watching me and be with him. That's my job, is to teach him the right way to do things. But I'm not just an out-and-out mentor." I think a lot was made about that comment, and I think most quarterbacks probably feel very similar to the way that Ryan Tannehill did. And I don't think there's necessarily anything wrong with that. The Browns didn't need to draft a quarterback in this draft. They've got Deshaun Watson here now, Jacoby Brissett backing him up, but they did need to get a receiver. And we talked about a couple names on there going into the draft. Now, one that we didn't talk about for day 3 was David Bell, who I know, though, you are a fan of. I watched your film study on him, read some things, some comparisons to DeAndre Hopkins. But what did the Browns get in Bell in your estimation, and is he a guy that, can make an immediate impact for this team?
I think he can. I think he can play in a bit of a role that's similar to Jarvis Landry, but maybe in a different way of executing it. He is not – obviously he's not very fast. He's not very, his explosion, his athletic profile isn't fantastic by any stretch. It's actually quite low for a starting receiver. But he's a terrific pass catcher, a good route runner, understands how to win in physical coverage. He's going to work open in zones. He's more than quick enough there, and he's a heck of a football player and blocker.
Yep.
And when you use him on a run-oriented team or a team that runs the ball as well as the Browns do, you're going to be able to generate play-action opportunities, and he's such a good blocker, he's going to command respect of, just like I talked about Alec Pierce last week. I like Bell almost as much, maybe a little more, in terms of the advanced conceptual traits of just like processing coverage, understanding how to set up defenders one-on-one. He just doesn't have the athletic upside of that.
Sure.
But he's a terrific football player. And that's kind of the theme with this Browns draft is they picked smart football players who process information quickly. And if that's the theme that the Browns are going for, you got to get 100% behind that, because that really is the difference between good college athletes and good NFL players.
You're exactly right. Talking with Matt Waldman from the Rookie Scouting Portfolio with some very glowing words about David Bell, the Browns' third-round pick out of Purdue. Now, do you see him? You mentioned like Jarvis, but in a different way. Do you see him at this level inside, or does he have inside-outside versatility?
I think he's going to be best on the inside, but he might be able to give you a little bit of the Juju Smith-Schuster inside-out versatility, but it's going to be more selective in terms of where he's effective on the outside. But I do think he's more of an inside guy, but he's also more of a contested catch guy where you can throw him open in the way that, Deshaun Watson really counted on that with DeAndre Hopkins. And those are the routes that match up best for Watson anyway. We know that Watson doesn't have that high velocity arm. He throws the moon shots really well up the rails and across the field. But when it comes to those intermediate routes, he's best on those sail routes, the outs against zone coverage. But you don't want him throwing maybe the opposite field comeback or the opposite field out with, great timing and velocity with a low trajectory. That's not his game. And that's really not where, with Bell's lack of speed and quickness, or acceleration, that's not really his strength either. So you're going to see more of the routes you saw him throw with the Houston Texans. And that works just fine, especially when you're using maybe 2 receiver route combinations, twins to one side, or you line him up inside. You have, Donovan Peoples-Jones on the outside, and you can mix and match with that. And when you put Bell on the inside, he processes things so fast to be on the same page with his quarterback. He adjusts well to different things. I mean, there's a great play of his just as a run blocker where you see him, handle 2 blocks and then pull away from one, knowing that it's not as important as what he's seen with, cornerback backside penetration, and be able to spring his fullback for a nice touchdown in the red zone, a long touchdown for a fullback. But,
that would be, yes.
Yeah. So that's the kind of thing you get with him. And I think he can become a big-time security blanket who, in terms of high receptions and, somewhere between 800 to 1,100 yards worth of production during his peak seasons if schemed to him as a receiver.
You love to hear that, because I think in this offense, you're right, we're going to transition. We're still going to be obviously run-oriented. You've got Nick Chubb, you got Kareem Hunt, Dearness Johnson. But this is going to be a team that's going to do a little bit more 11 personnel than they did last year. We're going to be able to throw the ball a little bit more, and having that guy over the middle of the field that can be counted on to catch the football, because that's one of the things he does so well, I think is going to go a long way for both Bell and Deshaun Watson in this offense. Mentioning the running backs, the Browns obviously thinking about some succession planning here, and you talked about the depth in this running back class. I mean, they got a guy who just ran for 1,300 yards and 19 touchdowns, averaging 6.2 yards a carry and averaged 10 yards a catch last year at Cincinnati. Very productive, seems to have some real upside. Was originally recruited by Nick Saban at Alabama before transferring the last 2 years, about 280 carries and really 1,800 yards and 27 touchdowns on the ground. So incredible production. What are the Browns getting in this young man out of Cincinnati?
They're getting a guy who could be a future starter if they
Wow.
need him to be. That's how good this guy is. Joe Ford has excellent movement skills, and with the running back position, you need guys who don't just make the dramatic jump cuts and spins, which he can do that, but he's very efficient with his footwork. He can make the one small move, open his hips, and get outside. He can bounce plays, but he'll stay inside and run tough. He's not anywhere near Nick Chubb as a physical runner.
Sure.
But like the Ernest Johnson, who is physical enough that when he gets his pads down, he can handle the pounding and keep coming back to get yards through contact and help his lineman by staying on his feet, and his lineman will help push him. He has that skill, but he's more mobile, maneuverable than Johnson. He is a good pass catcher out of the backfield. I think he has some good traits in terms of his vision. He understands his blocking schemes well. He understands where the cutback lanes are, processes that very fast, and running back is a high processing position. As Rick Spielman talked about recently before the draft, that when they're testing players nowadays in scouting, they're looking for processing speed. The closer to the middle of the field you are, the faster your processing has to be, which means that running backs and quarterbacks really have to have that high processing acumen, and he has that. There's a little bit of, if you're going to think of a player that he reminds me of, he's not as athletic as Jamal Charles. He may not be quite as physical as Cadillac Williams, but he's kind of in that Cadillac Williams vein in terms of size, dimensions, and style to be able to function in tight spaces and make the most of plays by either making you miss, making the right decision, or being able to, stay on his feet through contact.
I like that one. Cadillac Williams burst onto the scene. I think, didn't he set the record for the most yards rushing in his first game? Something crazy back in the day for the Bucs.
He was a stud.
He was a very, very good player. And then maybe run into the ground a little early in his career, a lot of carries, but Cadillac Williams certainly could play, and I like that comparison. It's just, again, it's nice to see the Browns be able to get value at that position, and I think that's a trend, don't you, that we're going to see more and more, where you can get good value at the running back position later on as kind of running backs aren't going as early as they once did. There are seemingly a lot of good ones coming out of college. Do you think that that's something we're going to continue to see, where you can get guys in the middle rounds who can end up being really good players?
Without a doubt, more than almost any position, you can name guys like Priest Holmes, Willie Parker, Terrell Davis, Arian Foster. I just named 3 out of 4 players were undrafted free agents in this league. And it's kind of like the running back room now. It's like, I always compare it to like a casting call in Hollywood, where if, you could be, Al Pacino, but you're still going to see, Robert De Niro. You're still going to see like a room full of great actors in the same casting call. And that's kind of the draft right now. It's not that the running back position is getting worse. It's just that they're using them more in committees. They're using them more in piecemeal parts because they don't want to wear these guys down.
Yep.
And the position does have a high turnover rate. So when these guys are in a draft class, it's just like every year there's going to still be strong athletes that come out. Occasionally you'll have an absolute game changer of a player who will get drafted in the early rounds, but now teams know that really they can get a player with multiple types of variables that they can plug in. Either, you look at, James Cook right now, who he might have the absolute best fit of the running backs who you might have considered as more of a mid-round guy, except for the fact that going to Buffalo and they're going to spread the field and use him as a multi-purpose weapon. Now you give him that Austin Eckler, Alvin Kamara, and I don't mean in ability, but like Marshall Faulk in terms of if you spread it out, let him run real routes breaking from the outside in, which is what most running backs don't do, and he can do that, and he's tough at that. Suddenly now you have a player whose running skills between the tackles is good enough to be functional as a starter in that offense, because you may not pound him 15, 20 times like Nick Chubb and wear out a defense, but he's smart enough and skilled enough to maneuver in there and take enough of a pounding that you can give him 7 to 8 touches inside the tackle box and another 7 to 8, around the offense in different spots, and suddenly he can be very productive in that fashion. So yeah, it's still one of my favorite positions, but how can it not be? You grow up in Cleveland,
that's right,
and you grow up hearing about about Jim Brown as if like he's the Zeus of the NFL. So that's based. I arrived on this planet about 5 years after he left. But that's all my family ever talked about. And that's what I grew up learning, is that Jim Brown was the Zeus of football. So
absolutely, the GOAT, as they call him, the Zeus. I like that as well. Real quickly, we're talking again with Matt Waldman from the Rookie Scouting Portfolio. Browns get a receiver late, and I don't know how much you got into Michael Woods out of Oklahoma, or what you think they saw in him. And another name I want to throw at you that's been rumored to the Browns or reported to the Browns as an undrafted, just because he seems intriguing, is Isaiah Weston out of Northern Iowa, who averaged 22.6 yards a catch for his career in college at 6'3", so he can fly around the field a little bit. What do you think of those guys? And I look, the Browns are in a different spot. It's going to be tough for anybody to make this roster that wasn't really an early pick.
For sure, but it's funny. I've seen more of Weston than I've seen of Woods, but I can tell you that Woods is more of a to me, I think Woods is going to have more of a profile of trying to make it on special teams.
Gotcha.
And then at best, he might be able to become a fifth receiver when they go empty, and use him as kind of an inside-out type of prospect. With Weston's more of that guy in the mold of, can he be I think of like Frisman Jackson way back in the day, or somebody who has that length, who maneuvers very well. He's very quick. You get him in open space, and he has a good feel for being able to make the first man miss and get chunk plays. He's used a lot, as you said, on those fly sweeps. I didn't see a lot of contested work out of him, but he's not afraid to work over the middle. He just has to. We have to see if he has enough of the bend in him physically to develop as a route runner and get more acclimated to the complexities of the receiver position, because, again, he's going to have to be on the same page with the quarterback and know all the different adjustments and be able to read the defense in the same way. And that may be a bigger step for him right now. If he can just show enough athletically that excites this team and maybe prove that he can do work on special teams, then, he might be able to stick around on and not just on the practice squad, but maybe at the end of the roster. And if that happens, then there could be some growth opportunity for him.
Matt Waldman, awesome stuff as always. Tell people about the Rookie Scouting Portfolio, how they can get into your insights. And I'll tell you what, he's a great follow on Twitter. Just follow him at Matt Waldman. You get some of the videos, you get some teases for the Rookie Scouting Portfolio, but let people know where they can get and how they can get your stuff.
Sure. And you can also find me on YouTube at Matt Waldman's RSP Film Room. And, I actually do some videos on running backs with David Bell's former high school coach, Chad Spann, who had a cup of coffee in the NFL for a while. But I've been doing that for about 10 years, Matt Waldman's RSP Film Room. You can find my RSP pre-draft, post-draft guide. Post-draft guide's coming out tomorrow. That's for one price of $21.95 for both of them together at mattwaldman.com.
Love it, Matt. Thank you so much for the insights, and excited to see how this is all gonna get going here for the Cleveland Browns and their draft class, and then the guys that you've liked around the league, so how they flourish here as we get into this 2022 season. We appreciate the time as always.
Always a pleasure.
The great Matt Waldman. All right. OBM, Ohio Business Machines, is the preferred copier provider of the Cleveland Browns, who have all the X's and O's for your office. Call 216-485-2000 or visit ohiobusinessmachines.com. When we come back, mailbag, maybe phone calls. I don't know. It's up to Gibbe. Gibbe, where are you? Are you betwixt the notion of mailbag or phone calls?
We might push phones to Monday or Tuesday. Just timing-wise.
Kids.
Look, we got a lot of people that reached out on the Twitter mailbag.
Okay.
And I want to try to answer those questions first, and Monday I believe it's going to be you and the voice.
Yes.
I think the radio team.
Jim
will be
Donovan,
in
the
booth
radio
on
team
Monday.
together. Let's go.
So maybe we do some questions for the people then.
All right, but still so much more to come, Gibbe. Mailbag coming up next. Cleveland Browns Daily, 850 ESPN Cleveland. All right. Mailbag time. Hashtag AskCBD to get your questions in. And for this, we get traveling music, and we bring in... Give it!
Darren Miller tweets at the show at Browns_Daily using the hashtag AskCBD. Zegura, what is the max number of tacos politely consumed at an open bar situation? He said open bar situation like that.
Like
I don't know what that means.
he's saying where you're you're going to a taco bar and making your own taco?
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you. I don't believe in limits. Your body will
Not
tell
when it
you when
comes
you've
to
had it.
tacos.
Your body will tell you when you've had enough tacos. That's what I believe.
But I believe at a Barrio Queen you have consumed an astronomical number of tacos in a sitting. Or was it further south?
It was Barrio Queen. Right here, Scottsdale. I had hiked Camelback Mountain earlier in the day.
Yeah, well,
and I
overachieved.
built up a great hunger, and I proceeded to put away 13 tacos, which prompted them to bring out the kitchen staff to look at the person who had just eaten 13 tacos. I think they were underwhelmed. They didn't understand why I was so skinny.
Yeah.
But I was quite happy.
Yeah, I was going to say you were in your element.
I was.
It might ruin the rest of the day. That was a lot of food.
I was betwixt heaven and nirvana.
All right. Stephen Giles. I heard a rumor on Malik McDowell returning. Any chance you can speak on that? I mean, we've talked about it. We've touched on it.
Listen, I don't know anything,
Correct.
any of the particulars, and I know that the Browns are monitoring it closely. They have not ruled it out at this point, and I think there's a potential. I wouldn't say it's likely, but it is not. The door is not yet closed.
Mr. Music Mud, what kind of haberdashery do you expect betwixt now and mandatory minicamp? You're welcome for me even asking this question.
That's great. What type of haberdashery?
Yeah. I don't know what haberdashery means.
So a haberdasher, if I'm not mistaken, is a guy who makes your suits for you and is like a fine men's clothier and who is more than a tailor. I think it's like the guy who makes sure that your fits are how do you spell it? Haberdasher.
Haberdasery.
A dealer in men's clothing. So yeah, so I don't know what clothing is going to happen, but maybe he was just using it to mean. Maybe he was just saying what's going to go on between now and.
Someone else is ready for the weekend.
What's going on between now and training camp? I don't know.
Rally in the North. Ask CBD at Browns_Daily. In your time with the Browns, who have been the best hype men on the sidelines?
From a player standpoint?
Yes.
Jarvis. Jarvis could get him going. I mean, this year LeCount's an unbelievable ball of energy on the sideline.
A little bit.
He's a ball of energy. I mean, obviously Devaroe. We mentioned Devaroe earlier in the show. Devaroe could get people fired up.
Coach? Is there a coach?
There was a fire up guy.
Well, I mean Greg Williams.
Greg Williams, yeah, but that was more.
Yeah.
That could be Blake Williams as well. He would get into it a bit. I'd probably That's probably. It's so hard because. You see stuff like that, but guys don't go it's not what you think where guys are just going around getting in everybody's face or whatever. I guess you do see some of that out of Tom Brady, but in terms of guys that were just good, happy, energetic guys, those were the Kirko. Kirko was great. Demario Davis was a great leader.
Demario Davis was really good.
Yeah, he was great while he was here. Yeah, those would be some guys. Uncle Bronco Bill. I just love that guy.
Oh. Richie Fox.
Ned.
When can applicants expect to hear back on the podcast internship?
Ned.
Be working on
Come on,
those.
he's got to be.
I'll be working on those resumes tomorrow and going through some of those and starting to thin out the herd.
All right, hold on. Somebody sent me a taco menu, and it looks to me like they are at a Yard House because it says the Vampire Taco. And then you got to get one of those. You got to get yourself a carne asada. Yeah, you don't want beer battered shrimp. Maybe a blackened shrimp and a grilled Korean beef. There you go. There it is. Get them all. One of all.
At Buckeye BV, if you woke up and just got drafted by the Browns, what position would you play? What number would you wear? Oh, this will be great. Here comes the ego being inflated.
Well, I mean, you're asking what position I feel like I would – not that I'm capable of actually playing in the NFL, but this is my world to determine what position I'm playing. So I'm going to play quarterback.
Yeah, I know.
And I'm either going to wear 3 or 16.
3 or 16?
Yeah. 3's always been my favorite number.
Huh.
But 16's Joe.
No, I mean, I can understand that. 3, interesting.
Jeff George wore 3 with the Raiders.
Well, there you go. Now we're getting down to the root.
Yeah, but he was 1 most played. Like in Atlanta, he was 1.
All right. At Browning out 1. What's your opinion on Hawaiian shirts? I love them.
I bet you do. Of course you do.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought about wearing one tonight just to embarrass my kid at our awards banquet.
I have exactly 1 Hawaiian shirt in my closet, and I will only wear it in places that are not here. Like I only wear it in Mexico, the Bahamas, Hawaii. I would wear it, obviously.
If I could
when
find
in
another
Rome.
jam suit, like when I was a kid, jams, like the shorts, they used to do like a suit where it was like the button-down shirt matching the shorts. If I could find another one of those, I'd wear it. Jorts.
Oh, my God.
P. Fred, who is Senor Swag? Sorry.
If you know, you know.
Yep.
Can't reveal that.
Nope. Real quick, because we're up against it. This from Andrew Merchant, New York Post. Joe Buck's ESPN debut. PGA Championship.
Let's go.
Manning cast.
Let's go.
From Omaha Productions. It will not be like the Sunday Night Baseball. Manning cast PGA Championship.
With Peyton and Buck?
Potentially.
Oh, my goodness. I love that. By the way, real quickly.
Omaha Productions will do this one. They don't do the Sunday Night Baseball one.
Okay. Yeah, that one, I feel like that one's not going as well as they would like it to be going.
Baseball's a little rough.
Yeah, a little rough. By the way, if people out there don't have plans yet for Cinco de Mayo, I would like to invite them to the Winchester in Lakewood to watch AIW.
What a great place.
Cybernetico de Mayo is happening, which is an 8-on-8 tag match. It's an unbelievable match. My boy Carson's in it. Bishop's in it. Dillinger's in it. Maserati West, the Bitcoin Boys, Dom, Casey Character, everybody. The whole cast of characters. Everybody you want is there. So if you're not going out, you don't have tacos and margarita plans just yet, go there to the Winchester. I bet I could see you dominating in the Winchester, Gibbe.
100%.
Yeah.
Been there, done it. And then you can stop at Taco Bell.
Yeah,
you can still celebrate Cinco de Mayo afterward.
It sounds like who knows? Maybe there'll be tacos at the event. I don't know. Who's to say?
Amen.
Not me. But so check that out. If you want to go watch some quality wrestling, do it. I'll be there for the Gauntlet for the Gold, May the 21st. Tadmore Shrine again, Gibbe. One of the most unique venues I've ever been to in my entire life out in Akron. I can say that with 100% certainty. All right. We'll be back. So much more to come. You're listening to Cleveland Browns Daily on ESPN Cleveland. All right, big thanks to Matt Waldman for joining us here today. By the way, a new episode of the BPA drops momentarily. Here, me go one-on-one with Browns wide receiver coach Chad O'Shea. A lot of insight into our wide receiver room. You don't want to miss that. The next level is next. Happy Cinco de Mayo, everybody. May today be betwixt Nirvana and heaven for you. Betwixt tacos and guacamole. Betwixt tequila and nachos. Next level's next.
You're down.